Dakota Fanning has a small, but memorable, role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and the actress has spoken about her time on set and her relationship with Quentin Tarantino. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Quentin Tarantino's 9th feature film and fits in the same category as Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained as a historical film, but with a twist. In this case, Tarantino gives a retelling of the Manson family murders but indulges in some warranted historical rewriting that ends with Sharon Tate's murderers on the wrong end of a can of dog food. Stylistically, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is more similarly aligned with Pulp Fiction, however. It's told linearly, but it's separated into unrelated scenes and moments that serve to round out the colorful world and characters Tarantino has created rather than drive the story forward. This style means that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is filled with several wonderful cameos, including one by Dakota Fanning. Dakota Fanning was once a movie staple before taking a bit of a breather and has only recently re-emerged as a dependable actress. Dakota Fanning plays Squeaky from in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Squeaky from was a real-life member of the Manson family gang. Squeaky, Dakota Fanning, pointing to the door with her foot for Cliff Booth, Brad Pitt, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Dakota Fanning appears in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as a character named Squeaky, based on the real Manson family member, Squeaky from. She appears when Cliff Booth, Brad Pitt, drives to Spahn Ranch with Pussycat, Margaret Qualley, and seems to be one of the leaders of the Manson family, at least while Charles is away. Cliff ignores everyone's warnings and approaches George Spahn's, Bruce Dern, home, where Squeaky blocks his way. After a tense standoff that would lead to gunfire in another Tarantino movie, Squeaky relents. She angrily allows the formidable Booth into her home and returns to her television watching. That's the last she's seen in the film, but Fanning leaves an impression. She is excellent at the Tarantino rapid-fire dialogue that's heavy on detail, and it never sounds unnatural coming from her. Fanning projects such seething rage and contempt even through a screen door. It's one of the most tense moments in the movie, and it's thanks in large part to Fanning's performance, who is almost leaning forward, ready to pounce on Booth. Squeaky from lives, and is currently out of jail after serving time for attempting to assassinate President Gerald Ford. While Tarantino nailed the look, the characterization is changed from what many people have said about one of Manson's earliest acolytes. From was often described as having a perpetual smile and possessing a little girl quality, via LA Times. This is different from Fanning's hardened, suspicious portrayal in the film. It said Manson did instruct From to distract Spahn with her sexuality, which is referenced in the film. What Fanning said about her experience making Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Fanning always hoped to work with Tarantino. Dakota Fanning had an excellent time making Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, saying that working with Quentin Tarantino was a career goal of hers. Via Collider, the atmosphere on the set of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was clearly one that Dakota Fanning felt comfortable with. It's understandable how Tarantino can get such good performances in even the smallest scenes. He makes sure everyone is glad to be there, no matter the size of the role.